for the first part of this lab, we're going to show you guys the different pipettes we're going to use and give you an introduction on how to use them and the best way to get really precise measurements when you're using them. So we have 3 different sizes today. The first size that we have is a 1 mil pipette. So this will read from 100 microliters up to 1,000 microliters or 1 milliliter. Then we have a medium-sized one that reads up to 200 microliters. And then we have a small pipette that will pipette anywhere from 2 to 20 microliters at a time. So when you're using these, we have different measurements that we can set inside of here. And so this right here is our 1 mil pipette. This is set right now to 1 milliliter or 1,000 microliters. If I turn this, I can unlock it right here, and I can turn this knob and I can adjust the volume. So for instance, right here, this is now reading 900 microliters. And then I can even go smaller. I can get to 800, and I could take that all the way down to 600 or even 500 right here, right? Same thing with my medium pipette. This is now set to 200 microliters, is the maximum we can do. I can unlock it, and I can adjust the volume. And so if I wanted to say do 150 microliters, I could set it right there to 150. And I'll give you one more small example. This is my 20 microliter pipette. Right now it's set to 20 microliters. I can unlock it and spin it. And if I wanted to say pipette 15 microliters, I can set it to 15 right there, just like that. So all of these are used in that way. Now when you use these, the one thing that you want to be careful about after I put the tip on is there's a couple things that can cause issues. If I push this down, it stops here, and watch what happens when I if I can keep pushing it down from there, right? So if I want to grab some liquid and I push this all the way down and then I stick it into my liquid and I pipette up, I'm going to grab more volume than I actually have registered right here. So right now it's set to 800 microliters. I'm going to take more than 800 microliters. So when I put this in, I just want to go alt down right to where it stops for me. Then I'll stick it in my liquid and pull it up. Why I have that extra volume there is so that I can get all the liquid out of this pipette after I pull it into the pipette for the first time, right? And then, so gently, boom, go into the liquid, pull it up, and then pipette, and I can get it all out by pushing all the way down. If I want to get rid of this pipette, I can shoot it just like that by hitting this thing on the edge. All right, so right now we have Lydia here, and she's going to show us how to use these pipettes. We're going to take solution 1. We're going to pipette a certain volume of solution 1 into our tubes, and we're going to weigh that out, and then we're going to calculate the density of our solution based on that. So Lydia is going to zero out the scale, and then she's going to pipette different volumes into these tubes. So she'll do 50 microliters, 250 microliters, 500 microliters, and so on, and we can calculate our density based on her pipetting.
So firstly, we will take the weight of the empty test tube, and then we will do zero. So now I'm gonna pipette 50 microliter of the solution 1. Weight. So now we got the mass of the 50 microliter of the solution 1 right here, and then you have to record the number because you have to figure out the density. And then we zero again. Take the weight of the empty test tube. Now I'm going to take 150 microliter of the solution 1. Since what I'm going to take are the same solution, so I'm going to not change the tape. Otherwise, you have to change the new tape to take the pipetting for the different solutions. 150. And now you can get the weight of the 150 microliter solution right now. And then we're going to do the weight of the 250 microliter. Zero. And now I'm going to change the different pipette with the different scale. So now it's 250. So now we're going to take the measurement of the weight of 250 microliters of the solution. So same, we have to take the measurement of the empty test tube with zero. And then adjust the scale to the 250 microliters. Inject the tip, pull it down for balance. And now you can see the weight of this 200 microliter solution. And finally, we're going to take the measurement of the 500 microliter solution. So for the 500 microliter solution, let's first take the weight of the empty tube with zero. Take the tip. And I have already adjusted to the 500 microliter. You pipette the solution. Inject into the test tube. Inject the tip. And take the measurement. So now you can get the mass of this 500 microliter solution right now. And that's it for this part.
Okay, so in part two, we're going to be diluting our solution, stock A, that we see in this purple tube rack. And so we're going to dilute it, and then we're going to record the absorbance on a spectrophotometer, and then we can do some fancy calculations with that and calculate our extinction coefficient based on that. So we've already done two. Lydia has water in this test tube, and she's already done all her calculations, and so now she's going to pipette stock A into the water in the test tube and dilute it to our appropriate concentration.
So now I'm going to do the dilution for our stock A solution. So here what we have is just the water with the specific volume. Then I'm going to add a certain volume of stock solution to the water. Check the tips. Gently mix the solution. And then I will pipette 1.5 milliliters of the diluted solution A into this cuvette. Now I'm gonna grab 1 ml. And then for another 0.5 ml. Now we have 1.5 ml of the diluted solution into the cuvette.
Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to read the absorbance of our solutions that we've diluted. So we're using this spectrophotometer here. We've set it to read at 600 nanometer wavelength. And we can see that this spectrophotometer can actually handle 6 cuvettes at a time. So when you want to load a cuvette in here, you can see on the cuvettes, maybe you can see it here, there's a little triangle right here. And if you look at the bottom, we have these nice slits that are very clear where we can get a really nice reading. If we look at it this way, we don't quite have that same thing. So we want to face it this way. If we look into our machine, we can take that triangle and face it right towards us like that. It'll slide right in there and it can take the measurements. And we can place whichever one we're looking at and it'll record each time. If I hit record measure 2, it can move around and we'll get all 6 measurements. So Lydia is going to measure the blank sample first, which is just the water. We always have to blank out our spectrophotometer with just a blank buffer or whatever's missing the thing that we're interested in. So we'll blank it with water and then we'll record the measurements for our other samples that we diluted before.
So firstly, we're going to take the measurement for the blank solution, which is water. So I'm going to place the cuvette into the blank chamber right here. Keep in mind that you have to keep the triangle facing the little hole right here. So now we put down the lid, and here click the blank icon right here to take the measurement. And now it gives you almost the 0 absorbance because it's just a blank solution. So after we place out the blank solution cuvette, we have our own diluted solution right here. So I will place them into each chamber, which are 1, 2, and 3. And then put down the lid. Let's just hit the number 1 at the beginning. So it gives the absorbance right here for the solution 1 in the number 1 chamber. And then I hit number 2, which is the absorbance number for the second dilution. And I hit number 3. This gives absorbance for the third diluted solution.